Something really serious just hit Baltimore, and there's no way around it today. After that loss to the Bengals, John Harbaugh's name landed right in the middle of a firestorm that keeps getting bigger by the hour. The atmosphere turned heavy, sharp, and direct, so much so that a lot of people are already treating this moment as the beginning of the end of the Harbaugh era. It feels like everything that had been buried for months finally erupted in front of everyone, and now nobody knows what the next step is going to be. What makes all of this even more striking is that the conversation stopped being about a single bad game. It grew legs, it got louder, it picked up urgency. When fans start saying, "It's over," that's not just frustration. That's a warning sign that something big might be about to happen inside the franchise. And if you think you've already seen the whole story, wait until you understand why this moment might reshape the team's entire future. That loss to the Bengals didn't hit Harbaugh like just another rough night. It dropped on him like a weight. The second the game ended, reactions online turned into a flood of people pointing in the same direction. Harbaugh. It felt like everyone had been holding in their frustration for months, and this game finally cracked the door open. And when that happens, it's clear the patience around a head coach is hanging by the thinnest thread possible. And the strangest part is how the whole conversation suddenly sounded personal. Instead of only breaking down XS and OS, people were talking like they were venting to someone close. We can't do this anymore. It carried that energy of looking at the team and feeling like something's fundamentally off, like the captain keeps steering the ship straight into the same storm every time. That's when you realize this stopped being about one game and turned into exhaustion with the way things have been handled. In the middle of all that, the debate shifted toward in-game decisions. It wasn't just a score, it wasn't just turnovers. It was about leadership, management, and the sense that the same problems keep reappearing. When a pattern like that repeats itself, pressure naturally gets heavier. It's as if everyone is asking the same thing. If nothing changes, how is anything supposed to get better? This explosion of criticism didn't come out of nowhere. It connects directly to the mood that's been building for months. And now, with this loss exposing issues that fans have been pointing out for a long time, the conversation moves into another zone, one that hits the very center of the debate. The sense that even the basics under Harbaugh feel out of place. And that leads us into the next point. After this loss, a lot of people started repeating a feeling that's been growing for a while. This team doesn't look like itself anymore under John Harbaugh. And that type of comment doesn't appear out of thin air. It comes from familiar patterns. Mistakes that look recycled, decisions that don't spark anything, and a style that no longer resembles the strong identity Baltimore once had. It's like the spark that used to define this team got tucked away in a drawer years ago. That idea of losing its identity popped up in hundreds of messages. It was like people were watching the field and thinking quietly, this isn't the team we used to recognize. That perception goes beyond stats and analytics. It hits something emotional, the ability to sense when a team has a clear direction and when it doesn't. And in the eyes of many, that direction simply faded away. Harbaugh's name sits right at the center of this because the head coach naturally carries the weight when the on-field identity stops clicking. And when the outside world repeats that the team beats itself, the frustration grows even more. The feeling is that this pattern has become routine, and repeating the same cycle wears down any relationship, especially when nothing seems capable of breaking it. And this idea of the team losing its signature under Harbaugh ties directly into the rising wave of criticism. That's when one specific detail from this last game became fuel for an even louder outcry, a detail with a clear name, Derrick Henry. In the middle of all this talk about identity and direction, one moment set everything off. The way Harbaugh used Derrick Henry. The reaction spread instantly because it made no sense to a lot of people to see Henry, one of the most physically dominant players in the league, finished the first half with only 5 carries. That decision felt like another disconnect between the head coach and what the game actually called for. The backlash was immediate and intense. Plenty of people called it ridiculous and even criminal to limit Henry like that, especially in a game that needed control, rhythm, and someone capable of putting the offense on his back. That call became a symbol of the frustration with Harbaugh, not just because of the decision itself, but because of what it represented. Lack of feel, lack of adjustment, and an insistence on choices that seemed to run against the flow of the game. And when a moment that's simple and that visible draws so much attention, it becomes hard to defend. Henry produced even with limited touches, which only raised more questions about why he wasn't used more. Situations like this feed the idea that the issue isn't just execution, it's coming from the sideline, and that always circles right back to Harbaugh. With that decision happening during a night already full of tension, the conversation heated up fast. And that heat pushed things beyond talk of single mistakes, opening the door for something much bigger, something that gained even more strength right after.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video, but before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.
What used to be frustration turned into noise. And not just a soft buzz, it was loud, clear, and coming from every direction. It's time for Baltimore to move on from Harbaugh. These messages were everywhere, all with the same tone of exhaustion, as if the loss of the Bengals simply sped up a feeling that had been maturing for a long time. For many people, this moment became the turning point. And as the conversation grew, some comments went even further. Some started saying the team didn't just need a new coach, it needed a full organizational shakeup. That gave the debate a different weight, almost as if Harbaugh's presence had become a symbol of something holding the team back. When that kind of sentiment gains momentum, it usually means a relationship has reached a point that's hard to repair. Losing to a division rival added even more emotion to everything. These games matter, and when the result comes wrapped in familiar mistakes, the reaction is always stronger. By the end of the night, Harbaugh had become the epicenter of a movement that grows every time the team lets avoidable problems take over a game. And that wave of criticism opened the door to a different kind of discussion, one that goes beyond they should fire him. It enters the realm of future possibilities, market dynamics, and potential shifts. And that's exactly where the next piece of news enters the story. In the middle of all this chaos, a curious detail surfaced and shifted the tone. Jocelyn Anderson's report about a veteran head coach considering a change of scenery in 2026. That hit the conversation like a new ingredient, because immediately people started wondering if she was referring Harbaugh, even without any confirmation from the team. The rumor almost gave shape to expectations that had already been waiting to take form. And that speculation opened the door to a different scenario. Instead of only demanding his firing, some people started imagining a situation where Harbaugh simply decides to leave on his own. This idea gained traction because it connects two realities: the current frustration and Harbaugh's long, successful resume that would still attract other teams. The report didn't confirm anything, but it fed a narrative that was ready to grow. At the same time, this created a strange situation. Even with the outside pressure increasing, there's still no official sign from the front office of any imminent change. That means, at least for now, Harbaugh remains responsible for getting the 2025 Ravens back on track, something many no longer believe he can do, even while respecting his history. This contrast, rising frustration, outside speculation, and internal silence, leaves everything hanging in a weird limbo. It feels like everyone is waiting for the next move. And whatever that next move is, it's becoming clearer that the weight of the moment sits right on Harbaugh's shoulders. In the end, everything surrounding John Harbaugh right now shows that Baltimore has reached a breaking point. The pressure is no longer quiet. The patience is no longer guaranteed. And the feeling of change has never been stronger. After so many repeated mistakes, questionable decisions, and a mood that's now impossible to ignore, one question hangs in the air. Is there still room for Harbaugh to lead this team? Or did this cycle finally hit its limit? And now I want to hear from you. After everything that happened, what's the next step Baltimore needs to take? Whatever your answer is, one thing is clear. The franchise is stepping into a crucial stretch where every move carries the weight of a full season. And whatever happens next might completely redefine the team's future.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself.